Hi everybody, this is Dr. Nigro with a Chem Calculations screencast. This one is going to be focusing on limiting reactant problems. Now, as we've talked about in class, a limiting reactant is the reactant that is completely used up in that reaction. All right, we did a couple analogies. We used grilled cheese sandwiches, we talked about s'mores, but basically when you make anything with a recipe, if you run out of one of the ingredients, that's going to limit the amount of baked goods or whatever you're trying to prepare that you can make. All right, same thing in a chemical reaction. Once this reactant is gone, that reaction is going to stop. All right, so it's really important to identify this limiting reactant because it tells you when the reaction is going to be over and it limits the amount of product that you can make. Now, to calculate the limiting reactant, you need a couple pieces of information. The first thing you absolutely have to have is that balanced equation. All right, so make sure whenever you're working any sort of problem that includes limiting reactants that you have a balanced chemical equation. All right. Now, the reason for that is that this is a stoichiometry problem. It's an application of stoichiometry, which means we're going to need those coefficients to make that mole ratio step. All right, once you have your balanced chemical equation, you're going to have to convert each reactant I'm going to use R here for reactant. I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this, to the same product. So what I really mean by this is if you have two different reactants with amounts, you have to figure out how much of a particular product each can make. All right, so we don't want to have one reactant go to one product and the other reactant go to a different product because we can't really compare those. All right, so we're going to convert each reactant amount to the same product, and we're going to do that using stoichiometry. Now, if you're still having trouble with stoichiometry, I'd strongly advise you go back and look at some of those chem calculation videos because you're going to have to be able to do stoichiometry calculations to do a limiting reactant. All right, now, I will say that you can stop at moles of the product, or you can go all the way to grams. It kind of depends on what you want to do. Most problems are going to ask you for the answer in grams in terms of grams of product. So I tend to go all the way to grams, but you don't have to. All right. You will have to do an extra step though. All right. You'll have to convert to grams later. Now, once you've done your stoichiometry and you've seen the amount of product that each reactant can make, you have to identify that limiting reactant. All right. And so whichever reactant makes the least product is your limiting reactant. And I tend to go ahead and just mark that on my reaction just so I can keep track of that. Okay? All right, so that's what limiting reactants problems are. So let's actually do one. All right, so here I have aluminum metal reacts with chlorine gas to form solid aluminum chloride. And then we're going to also have, oh no, that's the only product. So the question is, how many grams of aluminum chloride can be produced in the reaction of 34 grams of aluminum and 39 grams of chlorine gas? All right, so before I can do anything else, I have to write the reaction. So I've got aluminum metal plus chlorine gas. Don't forget, chlorine is one of our polyatomics. So aluminum is a +3 ion, chlorine is -1. So we cross our charges, we get AlCl3. All right, so there's our reaction, but we need to balance it. So I'm going to put a 3 here and a 2 here to get 6 chlorines on each side. That puts 2 aluminums on my product side, so I'm going to need 2 aluminums on my reactant side. All right, now I always write what I've been given underneath the different components because this helps me recognize that I have a limiting reactant problem. If you've been given amounts of more than one of your reactants, you have to identify the limiting reactant. All right, so first I'm going to calculate the amount of AlCl3 my 34 grams of aluminum can make. Then I'm going to repeat, but I'm going to start with my chlorine. All right, so let's draw this. Okay, I'm going to start with my aluminum. So I have 34.0 grams of Al. I need to convert grams to moles using the molar mass. And according to the periodic table, 1 mole of aluminum has a mass of 26.98 grams. All right, I'm going to repeat, well, not repeat, I'm going to do my mole ratio step, and I'm going to look at my balanced reaction. For every 2 moles of aluminum, I'm going to produce 2 moles of my AlCl3. Right, now you can stop here, determine the moles, and then compare the moles for each reactant, or you can go ahead and do the gram step. I'm going to do the gram step here. So 1 mole of AlCl3 has a molar mass of 133.33 grams. All right, so I check my units. Moles are going to cancel. Whoops, turn on my eraser. All right, so the moles are going to cancel here. The moles of aluminum are going to cancel here. Grams of aluminum, and we're left with grams of AlCl3. So I get 168.02 grams of AlCl3, and that's the amount of aluminum chloride that my 34 grams of aluminum can prepare. All right, so now I repeat, but this time I start with my 39 grams of Cl2. Molar mass step first. 1 mole of Cl2 has a molar mass of 70.90 grams of Cl2. Next up, mole ratio step. And I look at my balanced reaction. 3 moles of Cl2 can produce 2 moles of AlCl3. And then last, my molar mass step for aluminum chloride. 1 mole of AlCl3 has a mass of 133.33 grams. All right, I check those units. Moles of aluminum chloride cancel, moles of chlorine cancel, grams of chlorine cancel. Run that through my calculator and I get 48.89 grams of AlCl3 will be produced if I have 39 grams of Cl2. All right, so if I look at these two values for AlCl3, this one is the smallest. All right, so because chlorine's only able to produce 48.89 grams of aluminum chloride, this is your limiting reactant. Once you produce that amount of aluminum chloride, then you're all done. The reaction's over because you run out of chlorine gas. All right, let's try one more. So we're going to slide down here. This says how many grams of CO2 will be produced from the combustion of 35.5 grams of gaseous propane with 32.5 grams of oxygen gas. All right, so our reactants are propane, C3H8 plus O2. One of the products of a combustion reaction is going to be CO2. Now, we would give you this information because we haven't covered predicting yet. The other product here is going to be H2O. That's where the hydrogen goes. All right, we need a balance. So I have 3 carbons on my reactant side. So I'm going to start with a 3 next to my CO2. I have 8 hydrogens, so I'm going to put a 4 next to my water. That's going to give me 6 oxygens plus 4 more, so a total of 10 oxygens on the product side. So I'm going to put a 5 with my O2. All right, now I look at what I've been given. I have 35.5 grams of the C3H8 and 32.5 grams of the O2. And the question is asking about grams of CO2. So I'm going to need to convert my grams of O2 to grams of CO2, and then I'm going to need to repeat, but start with my C3H8. All right. So again, this is a stoichiometry problem. First, I'm going to start with my C3H8. So 35.5 grams of C3H8, and I'm going to convert that to moles using its molar mass. And if I use my periodic table, I find 1 mole of C3H8 has a molar mass of 44.11 grams. All right, so that'll convert me to moles of C3H8, but I need to get over to the product, so I look at my coefficients. For every 1 mole of C3H8, I'm going to produce 5 moles of CO2, not O2, I'm sorry about that, of CO2. Now I'm going to stop here this time, just so you can see what it looks like if you only go to the mole. So I have 35.5 divided by 44.11, and then times, oh, not 5, whoops. The coefficient for CO2, I really did have O2, is a 3. So times 3. All right, so 2.41 moles of CO2 O2 will be produced with this amount. All right, so now I'm going to switch from C3H8 to O2, so 32.5 grams of O2, and go to moles with its molar mass. So 1 mole of O2 has a molar mass of 32.00 grams. And then my mole ratio, for every 5 moles of O2, I can produce 3 moles of CO2. All right, so I check my math here. 32.5 times 3 divided by 32 divided by 5, 0.61 moles of CO2. All right. I think I have a typo here. Let me check my math. No, I think everything's all right. Okay, so my limiting reactant here is my O2. All right. And if that was all the problem asked, what's the limiting reactant, you'd be all set. But the problem wants to know grams of CO2. So I actually need to add one more step right here where I convert those moles to grams. And I know that 1 mole of CO2 has a molar mass of 44.01 grams. All right, that's going to let me cancel those moles of CO2. And we're going to get an answer of 26, not 28. 26.85 grams of CO2 will be produced here. All right, so that's just 2 examples of how you could do a limiting reactant calculation. One way I took you all the way to grams, the other we stopped at the mole and then did a single moles to grams calculation. Okay, let me know if you have any questions.